On a Monday morning, Jack's office was completely overwhelmed with project files waiting for approval. Although it was already 30 minutes past the official starting time, the workstation of Phuc, his assistant who was famously disciplined, serious, and had never once arrived late without prior permission, remained entirely empty. Deeply worried about his younger brother and Appo's safety, Jack pulled out his phone and made a call. The other end of the line was a chaotic mess of blaring ambulance sirens and the urgent shouting of medical staff. Phuc answered in a frantic panic, repeatedly apologizing for not having the time to ask for leave beforehand. Sensing his assistant's deep distress, Jack softened his voice to comfort him and inquired about what was wrong. Phuc choked back tears as he explained over the phone that earlier this morning, when he went over to the place where Lou, a heavily pregnant girl he had recently gotten to know, was staying, he discovered her writhing in agonizing abdominal pain before fainting right on the floor. The life-or-death situation left Phuc terrified, and in a flurry of panic, he scooped her up and rushed her straight to the hospital for emergency treatment. Hearing this, Jack immediately brushed aside all of his worries regarding the company paperwork. Being a man who deeply valued human connection and reason, he told Phuc that there was absolutely no need to apologize and instructed him to stay at the hospital to take care of both the mother and the unborn child. Jack granted Phuc full leave for the day, offering to handle all office matters himself, and promised to provide financial assistance whenever needed. At the hospital, after more than an hour of agonizing and stressful waiting, the doctor finally stepped out to inform Phuc that Lou was out of danger. The cause was a severe case of anaphylactic shock triggered by an allergic reaction to food, which had led to intense abdominal contractions and difficulty breathing. The doctor affirmed that it was incredibly fortunate that Phuc had discovered her and brought her in time, noting that if they had been just 15 minutes later, it would have caused a dangerous lack of oxygen for the fetus. After being treated with 4 fluids to stabilize her vitals, she was cleared to be discharged by the end of the day. Stepping into the recovery room and looking at Lee's exhausted figure, Phuc felt a profound, indescribable heartache. By late afternoon, he completed all the discharge procedures, paid the hospital fees with his own pocket, and brought Lou back to her temporary shelter, a makeshift refuge given to her by a kind-hearted soul out of pure pity. He cleaned up the place with his own hands, bought her some porridge, and tenderly cared for her. Looking at Lou, thin and completely alone in the world without a single relative by her side, Phuc realized that his feelings had turned into a deep, sincere love, and he harbored a burning desire to protect and cherish her for the rest of his life. However, this deep affection also plunged him into a painful internal torment due to a massive wall of prejudice. He knew for certain that his mother back in their hometown would never accept a daughter-in-law who had already gone through a past marriage, let alone one who was currently pregnant with another man and Appo's child. Heavy-hearted, once Lou had fallen fast asleep, Phuc proactively arranged a meeting with Jack at a quiet cafe to pour his heart out. He confided about Lee's tragic and difficult circumstances, how she had fled from a brutal, gambling, and abusive ex-husband only to discover later that she was pregnant with his child, and how she was now living completely penniless and without any family inside that temporary, makeshift home. Feeling helpless against the harsh realities, Phuc admitted that he was leaning toward burying his feelings deep within his heart, choosing to remain by her side merely as a friend to help her through her delivery, thereby avoiding family pressure and malicious public gossip for both of them. Hearing the name and quote, Lou and quote, combined with the exact circumstances Phuc had just described, Jack froze in sheer astonishment. As Phuc went on to describe her physical appearance, Jack immediately realized that Lou was the exact same girl whom he and his wife, Tien, had personally saved from the clutches of ruthless gangsters and her scoundrel of an ex-husband in the past. Years ago, Jack and his wife had brought Lou into their own home to nurture her, fully intending to cover all of her childbirth expenses safely. However, out of a high sense of self-respect and a deep fear that her crazed ex-husband would bring trouble and danger to her lifesavers, Lou had quietly packed her clothes and slipped away into a cold, rainy night. Even recently, that cruel ex-husband had still been tracking her down, coming to Jack and Tien and Appo's house to threaten them for her whereabouts, leaving the couple searching frantically for her for months without success. Jack let out a soft smile at the sheer twist and miraculous destiny of life, now fully understanding the profound sacrifice Lou had made for them. Deeply appreciating Phuc's noble heart, Jack advised his assistant to remain steadfast in his love, suggesting that for the time being, he should continue to be her companion and caretaker while letting time gradually move and shift his mother and Appo's traditional views back home. Jack then rushed back home to share the entire mind-blowing story with Tien. Upon hearing the news about Lou and learning of Phuc's grand tolerance and love, Tien burst into tears of pure sympathy. Being a highly compassionate, refined, and understanding woman, she deeply treasured Phuc's heart of gold and firmly declared that they could not sit idly by. Tien urgently told her husband that tomorrow morning, he must have Phuc guide them straight to Lee's place to comfort her, provide financial support for her upcoming hospital delivery, and act as an unyielding pillar of support for the two younger ones and Appo's love. The following morning, under Phuc and Appo's guidance, Jack and Tien's motorbike threaded through narrow alleys and came to a stop right in front of Lee's temporary shelter. Meeting her past benefactors so unexpectedly, Lou was so stunned that she dropped the water cup she was holding right out of her hand. Tien rushed straight over to the bedside, tightly wrapping her arms around Lee's thin, fragile shoulders as both women broke into loud, sobbing tears right in the middle of the cramped room. Lou choked out an explanation through her tears, bowing her head to beg for forgiveness and explaining that her heartless departure back then was solely because she did not want to bring disaster into their happy lives. Jack stepped closer with an expression full of tolerance, gently telling her to close the book on the past because the wheel of fate had brought her to meet Phuc, his trusted, blood brother assistant. Tien then opened her handbag and placed a thick stack of money directly into Lee's thin palms, clasping her hands tightly around it so she could not refuse, kindly explaining that this was a gift for their adopted grandchild to fully cover the upcoming hospital birth, diapers, and baby clothes. She stated in a serious tone that Lou was not allowed to refuse because during this sensitive stage, the health and safety of the child stood above everything else in the world. To fully dissolve the psychological knots holding the two younger ones back, Jack spoke up clearly and Dong Dac declared that he and Tien completely supported and blessed the relationship between Phuc and Lou. Tien followed her husband's words, warmly advising them not to rush into marriage or pressure themselves too early, but rather to take it slowly, standing side by side as companions and using their own future happiness to prove everything to Phuc and Appo's mother. Finally, Jack stepped forward heroically, delivering a rock-solid commitment. From this day onward, his wife and he would always accompany and stand side by side with them through any circumstances. When Lou goes into labor, Tien will personally stay on duty at the hospital to assist and care for her in place of her family. As for any economic pressures or financial burdens, Jack and his company will step up to shelter and take care of everything perfectly. Jack even raised his voice in a stern warning, declaring that if Lee's terrible ex-husband or any gangsters dared to loiter around this temporary shelter to harass or disturb their lives, he and Phuc would know exactly how to use a man and Appo's escapability combined with the full intervention of the law to crush them thoroughly, making them pay a heavy price and ensuring they never dare to show their faces again. Li's sole task now was to rest well and focus on a healthy pregnancy, while Phuc's task was to be a sturdy, warm shoulder and pillar of support for her and her child. Faced with such an immense and powerful backing, Phuc bowed his head deeply to express his profound gratitude, solemnly vowing that he would always stay by her side, loving, nurturing, and protecting Lu and her child for the rest of his life. Lu looked at Phuc, and then at Jack and Lytutien. Her eyes, which had always carried a deep, melancholy sadness after so many years of storms, for the very first time shone with the brilliant rays of hope and overflowing happiness, as a radiant smile of relief bloomed on her lips. She knew that from this exact moment, her life had truly turned to a bright new page. A journey where she would no longer be lonely, cold, and hidden in the dark, because beside her now were Phuc, Jack, and Lytutien, people with hearts of pure compassion who were always ready to extend their arms to shelter her. The small, temporary shelter was suddenly filled with cheerful laughter and the deep, rich warmth of human kindness, proving once and for all that no matter how massive the storms of life might be, they must step back before the power of kindness, sincere love, and noble chivalry.
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Nay thì mình mang tới video về nội dung tiếp theo của câu chuyện của Lý Tử Tiên nha mọi người. Như mọi người cũng biết là Tử Tiên trước đấy thì có cứu một cô gái đang mang thai tên là Lệ. Thì về sau cô gái này có xin phép rời đi, thì Tử Tiên cứ nghĩ là cô ấy, như lời cô ấy nói là cô đến ở nhà người quen, ở người quen giúp đỡ, nhưng đâu ngờ rằng cái duyên làm sao mà cô ấy lại được Phúc trợ lý và Jack giúp đỡ. Và từ đây thì Tử Tiên và Jack cũng biết được hiện tại hoàn cảnh của cô còn khó khăn hơn trước kia, khi cô ấy đã ly hôn và không còn sống với chồng nữa, và hiện tại đang có bầu to nhưng mà lại sống ở những nơi chật vật, khó khăn vất vả. Liệu diễn biến tiếp theo sẽ ra sao thì mình mời mọi người đón xem những phần tiếp theo ở trên kênh của mình nhé. Cảm ơn mọi người, tạm biệt mọi người.